guys! Oh, what? Hi everyone, my name is Jay, and for today I'm going to share the books that I finished up this March. So I read 3 books this month, and the first one I read was the Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, and Maureen Johnson. So this is a collection of short stories about Magnus Bane, who is a warlock, and he's originally in the Mortal Instrument series and the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, and this is just about all of his adventures. He's a warlock, he's immortal, and it goes throughout his life. He just shares a lot of the adventures that he's been in, as well as his point of view during certain events that happened in her other books. So Magnus Bane is probably like my favorite character out of her books, and his relationship with Alec is my favorite relationship. So I was really excited to read this book, and if you are not a fan of Magnus Bane, I don't think it'll be really enjoyable for you. To be honest, there were a bunch of stories that I didn't really care about. I like the stories where it brought back other characters that I liked, like Will and Tessa and Alec. Those were fun to read, but some of the adventures that he went on, I was just kind of going through them like, ugh, when is this gonna be over? Ugh. So maybe you have to be like a super mega fan of Magnus Bane to enjoy the book. I don't know. The next book I read was Little Night by Luann Rice. This is a story about 2 sisters, Claire and Anne is in an abusive relationship with her husband, and Claire wants to protect her sister. One day while they're trying to get away, her husband comes back and Claire ends up assaulting him, which ends up with her going into jail because Anne is just completely controlled by her husband, and she just basically ends up sending her sister to jail. And then 20 years later, the sisters are not talking to each other, but one day Claire's niece comes to her house, and they basically try to form a relationship after so long of not talking to each other at all. It sounds interesting, right? Oh, I had a hard time getting through this book. I didn't enjoy the characters. I felt like they were kind of underdeveloped, and the relationships with the characters I felt like needed a little bit more oomph, or just something, some substance. I don't know. I was really interested in the character of Anne. I thought she was a lot more interesting, and I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about her, but I guess the author chose to go a different route, and it also changes point of views. It goes from first person to third person, which I didn't like, and I didn't see the point of it. It also changed the narrator a couple of times, and the main character, Claire, she's in a relationship with this guy, and some of the parts were told in his point of view, and I was like, I don't care about this character, and I don't know why you're telling me about this man, but whatever. This is the first book I read by Luann Rice, and I'm kind of disappointed, so I'm hoping that I will find a better one at some point. And the last book I read this month was Seriously, I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres. First of all, I really love Ellen, and I watched her show, and while she was promoting this book, I was like, I really have to get it, but then I never got it, and then I did, and then I read it. Going into it, I totally thought that it was a memoir. This is her 3rd book, so I don't know if the other 2 were memoirs or if they're similar to this. But going into it, yeah, I thought it was a memoir, and then as I was reading, I was like, no, this is not at all what it is. This is more of a self-help book, or like an advice book about what you should do throughout your life, and I found those parts to be really funny and interesting and motivational, and it's told in Ellen's kind of way of talking, her sense of comedy, her style of comedy, and I really like that. However, I felt like there were some parts that were just kind of fillers, and I didn't really see a point to some of them. It just kind of felt like the musings of her mind, and I was like, why are you putting this in the book? I don't know. But overall, I thought it was funny, and it's a really quick read, so if you're looking for something just to like pass the time, or something to kind of enlighten you and make you happy, maybe this book will be one for you. Alright, so those were the 3 books I read this month. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you another time. Goodbye!